Hey everybody, Alan Brocken, the cool dad everybody's talking about, and I'm here to talk about how I won this prestigious award. Now, some might say it's pretty unprofessional for me to use this as my profile pic at work, but I do. And it might be a little arrogant. I mean, there's lots of cool dads out there, so why am I the cool dad that everybody's talking about? Well, the way I look at it, at work, that you got these high achievers and, they get the red jacket or the Rolex or the Cadillac, whatever they get, and it's a big status symbol. Well, to me, this is the most important award I've ever gotten. So, you might not get that. So let me tell the story. So, if you've met me professionally, you might know that I'm a husband and a father of three. Early in our careers, my wife and I, we decided that hey, we were going to have somebody stay at home with the kids. It was something we decided, and it turns out that a job in IT just pays a lot more money than a history degree working in a library. So at the end of the day, my wife decided to stay home, and I'm working. Well, by the time we had our third child, I was dreaming about what kind of future we could have with the family. I wanted to have fun family vacations. I wanted to pay for college, and hopefully a comfortable retirement. I don't think that's very different from other dads. I mean, you want to take care of your family, you want to provide for them, you want to give them a better life than you might have had. But I was working in IT at a state university, and there was just no way that was going to pan out the way I wanted it to. And that, no disrespect to the university, they just don't pay what, a private sector institution might. So I had a chance meeting with the Microsoft technical account manager. This guy, I'd known him previously, and he got a job at Microsoft, and he's all slicked up, and he's looking good, and he's enjoying life. And so I said, hey, is there something going on at Microsoft? Is that even a possibility? Now, to be fair, I didn't think Microsoft was I was in its league. I was super surprised when he said, yeah, sure, let's apply, send me your resume. And so at that point, I was like, well, what do I have to lose, right? So I went ahead and got the referral and went through the screening, and that was a whole thing. If you've ever been through one of these tech company interviews, you'll know that it's a grueling process. When I ended up at finals day, which is like the last set of interviews before you get hired, and it's an all-day affair. I got to the third interview, and I literally, when that one was done, I felt about this big. I was just, it's horrible. I felt like a total idiot. I was about to walk out, but I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and have this last interview. I might as well just see what happens. But I got to be honest, by the end of the third interview, I totally didn't think I had the job, didn't even think I had a chance. So when I had that final meeting with my hiring manager, he asked me, what do you think is the most important thing for this job? Without missing a beat, I was like, hey, integrity. From what I understand, you'll be sending me off to work with customers largely by myself, and they have multi-million-dollar, investments with Microsoft, and so you're counting on me to do a great job and to get help when I need it and things like that. So then he just paused and looked at me a little bit like, I don't know. I couldn't tell if it was a good a good answer, and he was contemplating it, or if I had two heads. I couldn't figure it out. Then he changed the subject, and there it was. I had no idea. Well, a few days later, then my integrity was sort of challenged because I was offered the job, and that job was traveling across the country 4 days a week. Now, from an integrity perspective, I want to be a good father, all that. Is this the right thing to do? Right? Does this align with the rest of my values? Now, there were some assurances at the time I was getting hired that, hey, if I was willing to move to a major metro, then I should be relatively close and be able to work there. And I was okay with that. We thought about that, and, maybe this was going to work out. So after a great deal of prayer and counsel from others, I ended up getting this warning from one of my mentors. And that was, great men rarely make great fathers. And that really hit home. If I could be this great dude that did big things in the world, but at the end of the day, if I lose my family, that's not what I want. That being said, this was tempered. It wasn't like, don't go do it. He was just saying, look, if I focus just on my career and making this thing awesome, I would lose my kids and wife, and so I needed to make sure that throughout that, new job, whatever, that I was always coming back to keeping the main thing. So my wife and I, concluded that sort of like, if God's going to open this door to opportunity and then it starts to go sideways, there'd be another opportunity. We'd find another way. So we just needed to take this opportunity because it's rare that you get a chance like this. And we'd figure it out. After all of that, I show up, first day of work. I had a conversation with one of my soon-to-be peer mentors that said, one way to think about this job is it's like you're standing in front of a portal. And if you step through it, you might learn amazing things, earn great money, and become a leader in your field. But you might also never see your family again. And it only took me a few weeks to figure out how true that statement was. So, this is going to be continued in part 2, The Pit of Despair.